In the mid-1990s, her Tibetan-inspired album, Sister Drum, became the first Chinese album released globally. After spending 10 years traveling and collecting folk songs around the world, Dadawa has now come back with a new music album. Join us on Up Close to learn more about Dadawa's special musical road. Hello and welcome to Up Close. Our guest today, Dadawa, is a singer known for her Tibetan-inspired music and a woman who has been called the Enya of the East. Let's begin today's program by listening to a few of her music recordings. We've heard her music, and now everyone, please join me in welcoming Dadawa to the Up Close studio. Hello, how are you? Good to see you again. How have you been?
I'm fine.
Very good. Well, Dadawa, here's our studio audience. And I want to ask everybody here in the audience, you've heard Dadawa's music before, right? You just heard it now. You've heard it before. Where do you think she comes from? Where do you think this name, Dadawa, comes from?
Maybe you came from province Hunan, right?
Yes, you're right.
She knows a lot. She did her research before she came.
Before I came, I collected some information on the internet, so I know that.
Great. Do you know where the name Dadawa comes from?
I think Dadawa just means the integration of Western culture and Eastern culture, and you give the name to yourself. Just mean that you want to represent the Western culture and the Eastern culture.
Okay. Well,
I don't know. That's my guess.
Before you answer, let's see if somebody else has a guess.
I think Dada means the super realism in Western style, and Wa means more in the Oriental. Maybe it's a Chinese traditional expression. That's about my guess.
Well, it's such a beautiful and a unique name, very rhythmic.
Thank you.
So, Dadawa, why don't you tell everybody, where did the name come from?
I think you're right. When Dadawa is a combination of a new name is combined with the surrealism, Dadaism, which is from the Western, and also in Dawa, in Tibet, Dawa means moon. So, and it's a combination. It's a new name I make for myself, for my music. And in the early 90s. Yeah.
Right. And it's a very easy name to say, Dadawa.
Yes, because my name, Zhu Zheqin, is very, very difficult for the Western people to pronounce it. I have a memory when I was traveling in Ireland once in many, many years ago, and I met the people in the airport, and when my name, they broadcasting my name in the airport system, I cannot recognize. I couldn't, because it's for them it's a very difficult to pronounce it. Z-H-U-Z-H-E-Q-I-N. So, and from that time I say I would give myself a new name for my music, because my music in the 1995 is a totally new kind of music, not just in China, but also for the world. It's a kind of new things happen. So I would like to, create a new name for my music, actually.
New music needs a new name. All right. Well, I like it. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a seat. First, I'd like to do is kind of bring all of us back to 10 years ago when you first came out with an album that was very pivotal to Chinese music back in the mid-1990s, and that was an album called Sister Drum. And for those of you who don't know, Sister Drum was the very first Chinese album ever to be released globally. In fact, what I hear is that at that time, if you were in a music store in the United States, the only album that you could find that was from the Chinese mainland would be your album.
Thank you. That's an honor.
Now, why do you think it was so successful internationally?
My music is a kind of, I get a great influence from the Oriental and Chinese culture, religions, and also I think the concept of the value,
Right.
of the human being life. It's kind of totally different system from the Western. So the other hand is my music is not just connected with the traditional Chinese or Oriental culture, but also had a very modern appeal. So we use lots of modern elements,
Right.
music elements to combine together. So and make a show to all the world. This music, which was represents the modern China, modern Oriental.
Now, I know it's also been called Tibetan-inspired music. Can you tell me which elements were Tibetan-inspired?
Actually, from Tibet side, we didn't use any section or any certain melody from the Tibetan music or Tibetan lyrics. Actually, and for me, I would like to say we get some of the influence from Tibet. It's from the spiritual side.
The spiritual
It's
side.
not actually. I always say, always want to tell people, my music is not Tibetan music. That's a very important thing to let my audience know before they hear the music, because it's not, my music is not Tibetan music. But just take a sample, like if Spielberg came to Shanghai to make a movie, he cannot say it's a Chinese movie or Shanghai movie. It's from a movie from Spielberg. But there's something connected with the local, maybe the story or some spiritual, feeling. It's common, but it's not, actually it's not the Tibetan music. So I don't want my audience to get confusing with that point.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's often a bit misunderstood about your music, that it is, people think it's going to be Tibetan music, but it's
Yes.
really maybe your interpretation
Yes,
of what
yes.
you felt when you were in Tibet.
Yes, you are right. I think, for me, Tibet just like a mirror. When you go in front of the mirror, you see yourself. I think Tibet is a very unique and very, very great place in the world. For me, it's also very important. For me at that time, I was young and I just created kind of my lifestyle and my new music. That's a very, very important place for me. But Tibet is like a mirror. Because in the other place, the place when I was grow up, normally you're living in a very noisy place, lots of information, lots of the rules, just infect you to concentrate with something else. But Tibet is a